Good morning, Casual Conversations family. I'm so happy to be with you on this Friday morning. For some, the end of the week, for others, the beginning. Namaste. I behold the divinity in all of you, each and every one of you. I wanted to just talk for a couple of minutes from the idea of tying up all loose ends. Tying up all loose ends. We are certainly interpersonal people by design are designed to be connected to the other. It is a part of who we are as human beings. When you look at all psychological literature and neurological literature and sociological literature, all disciplines bring us back to the fundamental idea that we are interconnected, that we are relational beings by nature. And it's important to know that. It's important to allow that to permeate in your spirit, allow it to help fashion how you walk and navigate in this world. But oftentimes, I also find that as a relationship to or as a result of being relational beings, sometimes we stay in relational situations that no longer serve our ultimate good. There are a number of reasons why people enter and stay involved in relationships of all types, job, romantic, friendships, roommate situations, etc., that no longer serve us or that cause us tremendous psychological, interpersonal, and spiritual harm. There are all types of reasons for that type of phenomenon in which people stay connected to people or connected to institutions or connected to relational experiences that no longer serve their good. When we think about it in terms of research, we can see, and also in my own practice with patients, I see a number of well meaning individuals, successful individuals, people who have no real cognitive deficits, but often find themselves interwoven into patterns of relating to others and having people relate to them in ways that are maladaptive, in ways that do not serve their ultimate good. And so I want to ask you today on this Friday morning, are you in a relationship? Are you in a relational connection that instead of causing you to move to the next place of in your destiny, that instead of bringing joy, instead of bringing contentment, instead of allowing you to be the best you that you're in, are you in a relational experience that causes grief, that causes chaos, that you keep repeating unresolved developmental patterns through and in? If that is the case, I have news for you. It's time for you to loose those situations, those relational situations, and it's time for you to tie up all those loose ends. What do I mean by that? I mean, it's time for you to assess what it is in you that causes you to, first of all, attract relational situations and relational experiences that continue to help you repeat unresolved, unhealthy patterns of interaction and ways of being. What is it? Is it developmental trauma? Are you playing out your mother relationships, your father relationships? Are you playing out father wounds or mother wounds? Are you attempting to manipulate people and situations to get gratified in terms of your self-esteem? In other words, are you using the relationship as a way to speak to those split off pieces in yourself, those low senses of self that you carry? What is it that promotes and motivates you to stay into relational experiences that no longer serve your highest good? You've got to assess it. You've got to really come as close as you can to understanding the things within you, the ways in which your history inform how you relate to the other and what you allow others to bring into your life. Often we like to blame and shift the blame externally to what the other person is doing. And certainly they are co-creators or co-actors in the relational drama and in the relational chaos that you are experiencing. But it always starts with you. In other words, your relationships of all levels are often a representation or a mirror of who you are or what you think about yourself. In other words, no one can come into your life unless you have already allowed them by virtue of your own sense of self, virtue of your own ideas about yourself and the world. Our relationships, our relational experiences are often only a picture, a manifestation of that which we think about ourselves, that which we concentrate on, that which we expect from others, usually based on some unresolved place within ourselves. My question for you today is, what is it within you that continues to attract the relational chaos that you experience? Was it within you that continues to attract job situations where people don't validate you, where people just tolerate you instead of celebrating you? What is it within you that allows you to continue to attract people that are emotionally unavailable? Is there a piece within you that is emotionally unavailable? Is there a piece within you that doesn't really trust that you can have mutuality in your relationships, thereby causing you to attract and stay in situations that no longer serve you emotionally? What is it within you? Take the time to deconstruct yourself. Take the time to really get on that proverbial altar and really stretch out, meditate, read whatever you have to do, therapy, whatever you need to do to come to the place where you understand the motivations for your behavior, where you understand what it is within your identity, within your psychology that draws you to relational chaos. Number two, after you explore and come to a place of self-reflection and self-awareness and understanding the things within you and the things that you have experienced that have caused you to attract the relational chaos that you are currently living in. Number two, it's then time to make a decision. Sure, that which is normal to us or that which we are used to gives us a sense of normality, but that normality is really a normality of chaos. Can you do better? Are you going to settle for relational mediocrity? You have got to make a decision. You have got to decide that your happiness, that your wholeness on a psychological, interpersonal, and spiritual level is more important than keeping the negative patterns, relational patterns that you find yourself in. You've got to make a decision. Now, the decision has to be accompanied by an action. Oftentimes, patients ask me, well, what do I do with this understanding? Dr. Gadsden, I understand myself in a more deeper way than I have ever understood myself as a result of our work together. I see patterns. I see how it's in this area and that area. But what do? I just feel so anxious. I just feel so depressed. And I tell them, number one, the depression and the anxiety are symbolic gestures showing you that there is a need to go higher. that there is something, that this contrast, I call it contrast as Abraham Hicks calls it, this contrast of depression, this contrast of anxiety is really an indication of the power and the capacity for more. So stay with that for a minute and really understand what your anxiety, what your depression is attempting to tell you about what you need. And then I tell them, you've got to take action. You cannot just have self-reflection without relational praxis. You've got to do something about the knowledge that you are receiving about yourself. Whether it's crying, whether it's meditating, whether it's journaling, you've got to do something with this new level of spiritual understanding about yourself. You've got to then play out or act out the new level of understanding so that that new level of understanding about yourself can be actualized and internalized. It can only be internalized as you do something different. Oh, I know it's uncomfortable. I know it's hard. I know it feels weird, but you've got to take action. You have got to stop this relational roller coaster. You have got to stop these types of situations from continuing to manifest themselves in your life. You deserve the best. You are worthy, rather, of the best. You're worthy of knowing yourself as deeply as you can. You're worthy of having relationships mirror that positive self-understanding. You're worthy of mutually loving relationships. You're worthy of another person that is equally invested in the relationship. You're worthy of vocational experiences where you feel alive, erotic, and where others are celebrating you and you can celebrate them. You are worthy. When you make that decision that you are worthy, then you take action and say, enough is enough. And I'm going to walk this self-reflection out. I'm going to walk this self-knowledge out in my real world. What is it that you need to take action on today? Some of you need to meditate. Not operate out of depression, not operate out of desperation. You need to meditate and sit still and call forth the divinity within you for the strategies, the actions that are motivated by inspiration and not by desperation or ego or pain. What strategies do you need to take? What do you need to give up? Who do you need to give up? Who do you need to say, I love you, but I can no longer stay in this type of connection with you because it doesn't serve either of our ultimate good? What conversations do you need to have? What new jobs do you need to seek? What new platforms do you need to be inspired to walk into? What resignation letters do you need to draft? It's time to take action. So number one, we've got to deconstruct. We've got to do the painful work of understanding how we got into the relational patterns that we're in. We've got to heal it. We've got to shake it off, right? We've got to feel the pain. Number two, then we've got to make a decision about where we want to be, what types of relationships we want to be in. What do they look like? What do they feel like? This is a good time for a vision board. This is a good time for a chalkboard to put the words down. This is a good time to write down the relational vision that you have for yourself. And then number three, you've got to take pragmatic, consistent, whether they're small, medium, or large steps, because those steps, the action steps, the strategies allow the internalization of the new sense of self. You've got to walk it out. I encourage you this Friday. I implore you this Friday to walk it out. It's time to tie up every loose relational end and come to yourself. Believe that you're worthy of experiencing and being an authentic, healthy, open, and prosperous individual. Namaste.